What happened was I lost everything.
Yeah.
I lost over $100 million, but this is how it happened.
You were a fighter and you worked your ass off.
I still do. And I don't call it work, right? I call it activity I get paid for.
Sure.
But yeah, I always find the light, the love, and the lessons in my activities. Taking out the trash, selling stuff, whatever it takes. Like 1,000 people that are buying from you and selling for you, that's a community. And instead, everyone worries about followers,
of course,
views,
engagement, likes, all the crap.
That's crap.
Friends and professionals, welcome to another episode of the Modern Lending Podcast. Today, I'm bringing on serial entrepreneur David Meltzer. You don't understand. This guy's story is incredible. One man's journey from nothing to the peak of the mountain, to the lowest pits of despair, losing everything and back again, now living his life with gratitude and unbelievable optimism. Buckle up. You're in for a ride.
Welcome, everybody, here in the studio, the one, the only Dave Meltzer. Dave, thank you for coming, dude.
Thank you for having me. It's such a good feeling to be in person. I do so much virtually, and it's different than stepping on stages. When you're in a studio, there's a common bond, and I believe it's a better energetic situation, especially for both of our communities, to kind of get a feel for a higher vibration or frequency.
You know, I think the world's sick of the COVID screen land.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get face to face.
Thank you.
You know, where I want to start, Dave, because we got a lot of little time, a lot of content. You know, you have one of the most incredible stories of just managing trials and tribulations, huge amounts of success, huge amounts of hurdles to overcome. Can you just share a little bit about how you did all that and what happened?
Yeah, sure.
I want you to deliver your own words on this.
And I think it's important for people to, in my journey, understand, I believe I lived 3 worlds.
Yes.
And the first world's one that a lot of people grow up in, and some are going to be experiencing in the future. And it's the world of not enough. Whether it's in a mindset, a heart set, or a handset of scarcity, I grew up with not enough. I had a single mom. My dad left when I was 5, 6 kids, 5 boys and a girl. But I had this amazing mom that I watched. I didn't listen to her, by the way. So my kids, if are listening, they do the same thing. Your kids may be listening, but I didn't listen to my mom, but I watched her. I watched her work 2 jobs. She worked as a 2nd grade teacher for $17,000 a year, packed my dinner in a paper bag with my siblings who were supposedly reading and teaching me and vice versa. And then she filled up at night turnstiles at convenience stores with greeting cards just so we could eat and get by. So in my mind, in this world of not enough, I had enough love.
Yeah.
I had these killer siblings, all who ended up, Ivy Leaguers, parents' wet dreams. I hope I can say that.
We're all good.
All right, good. And but a Harvard, Penn, Columbia, summa cum laude.
Jeez.
And yet I never had enough. Because I caught my mom crying because of the car, dishwasher, summer camp, all the things a lot of kids in this area have no idea about. But I was in the projects of Akron, Ohio in the 70s. And it was a world, and it was an energy, a neighborhood of not enough. And people that live in not enough, whether they're on Newport Coast with a $40 million house or like me with a single mom in the projects, what happens is you're always a victim. Things happen to you. And I was a fighter because of it, because everything's happening to me. Why me? That guy. And I had a chip on my shoulder that everyone thought they were better than me, which is an area today that everyone's worried about what other people think.
Yeah.
Right? And you see it on social media.
Oh, it's brutal on social media.
I am compared to, this is what I want people to think I am. Huge energy crisis. Well, I worked really hard. I followed what I saw my mom do, and I ended up out of law school, getting a job in the internet, although my mom told me that the internet was a fad.
Yes, of course. I knew
She told me the internet would
so
never
good.
last,
Yes.
and I was making a huge mistake. But what made it worse, most people don't know this story. So I get out of law school, and I'm working and selling legal research on the internet. 1992,
early.
XT computers, DOS, 9600 baud modems. Look it up, kids. If you know what that means. It's slow. But anyway, Justice Scalia, I get to demo Westlaw to the Supreme Court of the United States, and Justice Scalia tells me, this is when I put all my hopes and dreams in the internet. He's like, son, nobody will ever use a computer to do research. You need books. And I'm like, Oh my God, my mom and now Justice Scalia are laughing at me, scoffing at me, making fun of me for not being a real lawyer. My mom actually made me take the bar because she was so convinced that I'd be back to being a litigator, an oil and gas litigator. But luckily, 9 months out of law school, I made my first $1 million because the internet wasn't a fad, and I had work ethic that I learned from my mom.
Yeah, and you were a fighter, and you worked your ass off.
I still do.
Do.
And I don't call it work, right? I call it activity I get paid for.
Sure,
but yeah, I'm probably one of the most consistent people because I always find the light, the love, and the lessons in my activities. Taking out the trash, selling stuff, whatever it takes. I start by saying, what is it that I'm going to love about it? Sometimes it's just getting faster. Like I love doing more calls faster or my statistical success of selling more. Whatever it is, I find and learn to love what I do. And what I learned about that is if you learn to love what you do and you do it consistently enough and you do it long enough, it tells you all its cheat codes. It tells you all its secrets. So it actually gets easier. And so I transform my world of not enough to a world that so many people live in of just enough. And they use this moniker of everything happens for me.
I love that,
right? For me. I'm like, everything was happening for me. I gave away millions of dollars. I was a millionaire in 9 months out of law school, 1992. By 95, we exited for $3.4 billion in 95. So put it in concept, there wasn't that many billionaires at the time.
No.
And so this whole world, I had more than enough of everything for everyone.
You climbed the mountain. You did it.
I did it, except for I didn't live in the world of more than enough. I lived in the world of just enough. And what happens if you live in the just enough world is you always need more.
Yeah.
More happiness, more health, more wealth, more worthiness.
Yeah.
It's not and you're stuck now. It's, I think, worse than being a victim. Like, there's a freedom of having nothing and only one way to go.
Yeah.
There is so much fear in living in the world of just enough when you want more, but you have so much.
Yeah.
And my greatest fear, by the way, was going bankrupt and losing it all. And I identified with my bank account. Like, you know, some people, they identify with their weight or their hairline or whatever. Thank God we don't do that.
No, can't.
But they identify, this is a true story. I was worth over $100 million. If my bank account went down $100,
see, that's
I'd be
wild.
bummed. I would think I'm I'm stressing out, going, why is my bank account going down? Even if it was just a variance of 100. And same thing true with if it went up 100.
Yeah.
Like somehow I was more valuable than not valuable. And so in that journey of buying things I don't need, I would buy more things if I was unhappy, different things if I was unhappy. I would buy things that I didn't need to impress people I didn't like.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
And you see it all around here.
Well, of course, we live in it in Newport, of course.
And, go ahead.
Well, what happened? So you climb the mountain, you're at the top.
So I not
you're
only...
at the place very few humans are ever at.
And I had it in a variety of ways. So one, I had all the money.
Yeah.
But in 99, I was CEO of Samsung's phone division. Yeah. Leigh Steinberg here in Newport Beach hired me to be CEO after 48 hours of meeting me because I had this unique background. I had played sports. I had been a sponsor of huge events. I had hired athletes. I was a buyer on that side. But the one thing and the reason he really hired me beyond my law degree and all the things that all the other 2,500 kids that want to be lawyers because they couldn't be athletes wanted that job, I wasn't even applying. But what made me unique is I had a technology background and Leigh Steinberg was a visionary. Yeah. He knew the future of sports was in technology. So not only was I worth more than I ever dreamed of, but I had access to what billionaires could afford. I ran the most notable sports agency in the world.
No doubt.
And I could be on the sidelines, in the game, like anywhere I wanted to be. And I could bring people to the Masters and Super Bowl and all these places. And I married my dream girl. Okay. That's it, 4th grade.
Killing it.
Yeah. I mean, every single part of my life, I called it a glamour I stuck.
Yeah.
Imagine walking around, and athletes get this a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone in the world going, oh my God, you're so lucky. I want to be you. And all you are is living in the world of just enough and completely empty.
Just crippled,
empty. And so usually you self-sabotage yourself when that situation occurs. Sometimes. And so surrounding myself with the wrong people and the wrong ideas. And I think it's important. I had 3 red flags.
Okay.
Because what happened was I lost everything. Yeah. I lost over $100 million. But this is how it happened. At 30, I had everything. My dad, who was estranged from me, gave me a birthday present for the first time in 20 years. He gave me a sports coat that fit me perfectly. He sent it to me unexpected. But when I opened it up, it had no pockets. He had ripped out everything. And I called him. I went from complete hope and faith that I was going to reestablish my relationship with my dad to pain and hate.
Yeah.
I called him. I'm like, why? And he's like, well, you're just like me, son. I'm like, I'm nothing like you. He said, no, son, money doesn't buy you love or happiness. I want you to hang that jacket. I don't want you to wear it. I want you to remind yourself every day you can't take anything with you when you're gone. And I wish I would have learned that lesson, he said. And I said, Dad, I'm nothing like you. You're a liar, a cheater, manipulator, overseller, back-end seller. F you, I hate you. And I hung up. 6 years goes by, and now I'm running Leigh Steinberg.
Yeah.
Married to my dream girl. Now I have 3 daughters. Beautiful. Thank God they look like their mom, but healthy, happy. We have, home in Rancho Santa Fe. I have a golf course, a ski mountain. Anything I wanted to buy, I could have. And my best friend, Robbie, who actually... in the 4th grade, we became friends.
No kidding.
That's when I met my wife. And at 6th grade camp, I was too afraid to ask her to go steady. So he asked her for me.
Solid work.
Well, it was solid till she said no, telling him to ask me himself. And then he yelled and embarrassed me in front of everyone. Dude, she said no. So I threw an egg at my wife in the 6th grade. Hated me for years. But Rob had been my best friend.
Yeah.
And now, my mom was telling me that I was lost. I hated my father. Now my best friend, I invite him to the Masters with Warren Moon, Wayne Gretzky, and Joe Montana. The NetJet party, the whole deal. And he literally looks at me. He's like, dude, I'm not going. I'm like, Rob, I'll pay for everything. He's like, no, it's not about money. He says, I don't like what you're doing, brother. And he's like, honestly, I'm worried about you. And I don't want to be around it.
Wow.
He goes, you're moving in the wrong path. And I was like, not ready to hear it. So I told him, F you.
Yeah.
How dare you talk to me that? Like, look at all this is what you treat me. And so now I hate my best friend. 2 weeks later, though, and this was the day I changed my life. My wife, I wanted to go, I did a lot with Little John and Jägermeister and Grey Goose. And most people don't know, Little John started with Grey Goose. He was a skateboarder. And then he did this Little John Grey Goose music tour, which set him in a different trajectory. So John invited me and the head of marketing from Jaeger and Grey Goose to the Grammy Awards.
Oh, no kidding.
My wife tells me, you can't go. You're not paying attention to work. You're not paying attention to family, and you're partying way too much.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about you. So I lied to her, went to the Grammy Awards.
Bro.
Yeah.
This is so good. I know, kind of good. It's just intense.
It's good. And I came home 5:30 in the morning, wasted.
Of course.
And my wife was waiting for me to tell me, I'm not happy. I'm leaving you. And you better take stock in who you were and what you want to become, because you're going to end up dead. And me and the girls aren't going to stay around to watch this. So, of course, that morning I said, I hate you. I will show you.
Yeah.
Went to bed, woke up, and I was full of hate. I hated my mom, my dad, my best friend, and my wife. Imagine that. I hated these 4 people because all of these other people loved me.
Yeah.
And how dare these 4 people, my mom, my dad, my wife, and my best friend, how dare them tell me how the truth, but where I was when all these people thought I was amazing.
Yeah.
And I sat there on my bed thinking I'm going to take all their joy, which was money. So I was going to get divorced and take everything. And being a lawyer and being, very scarce in the world of just enough, and money buys love and happiness. And right when I was thinking about that, I looked over my closet, and this is where the universe
I'm there.
I saw that jacket.
Yeah, you did.
And I looked at it and I broke down crying, and I thought to myself, I don't hate my mom or my dad or my best friend. I certainly didn't hate my wife. I hated myself.
Yeah.
That jacket saved my life because I looked at it.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I said,
I'm there.
Man, I am a liar. I am a cheater. I'm a manipulator, an overseller, a back-end seller, and I hate myself. And I spent the whole day by myself taking stock in who I was. and what I wanted to become. And that's where originally the 4 values that I teach in my mission to empower over 1 billion people to be happy: simple gratitude, forgiveness. And I'm going to stress forgiveness today because I always stressed gratitude.
Yeah.
But if I look at the world today, I've always focused on gratitude. I think forgiveness may take priority today. If we can just forgive ourselves and others, we can heal so much that's going on.
Yeah.
Accountability and inspiration. I got faith that day that, there's something bigger than me that loves me more than my mom. And 2 years after that day, with a lot of work,
no kidding,
and a lot of threats from my wife to leave me more times, I lost everything. 2 years after that date, and I was ready for it. What scared my wife most about me losing everything was my faith.
Yeah.
Like, it was unwavering by that time.
Yeah.
And I always say it wasn't losing everything that woke me.
Yeah.
It was literally the 4 people who loved me the most telling me I was lost and standing up to me when they had a lot to lose.
Yeah.
My wife had a lot to lose she could be like a lot of other wives I see. Great life, just blow smoke up my husband's rear, right? Tell him how great he is, right? The kids, and then when the kids go to college, they usually leave and take half of everything. But she wanted to save me.
Yeah.
And she did, and my mom did, and my dad and my best friend. And thank goodness, because for the last 15 years since I've lost everything, I've been on a mission to empower other people to be happy.
Well, you've been on fire. So I don't know, a mission on fire. I mean, it's incredible to watch, Dave. I mean, honestly, like it's been inspiring so many people. And that's where I would love to kind of like move this conversation into that space, because your heart is so big. You arguably have one of the strongest networks in the world. You've rebuilt yourself from tremendous, accomplishment and back again type of a thing. But the angles you're taking now feel radically different than the man you were just describing before. I mean, I can't even imagine that guy, honestly. From how I know you, like that guy, I'm like, that's a total alternate universe. How could that possibly exist? And so let's talk about the 4 things you're dedicated into today.
Yeah.
And let's talk about how they're manifesting, and let's talk about how you're using all the skills and the marketing and social media and all these platforms to kind of forward your mission. Let's unpack it. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I want to start with community.
Okay, I like that.
Because I think whether you want a community of 2 people, which may be your immediate family, or 200 million people or over 1 billion like me, for me, it's really important to understand the way that we build a community is by knowing our own essence.
Well, that's
and
a
I've
start.
Broken down essence into 3 areas, and you can break it into whatever. I just want people to look within instead of outside.
Yeah, let's go.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, skills.
Okay.
I think what separates us is we all are blessed with certain skills, and we are trying to have skills that other people, if I tried to have the basketball skills of LeBron James, my basement is very low. It would take lifetimes before I could get to his basement.
Yeah,
and I see people do that all the time. They haven't taken inventory of their skills. And if I wanted to be the best basketball player that I could be, that would be one thing. I love basketball. I just want a big delta. And that's pretty much what I did in football. I had a low basement, but I had a huge delta in my life, which ended up me being a below average Division III football player. I used to say average. My actual coach told me I was below average. So I'll take him for his word. But I asked them, how many players have you had that had the delta from their basement to their potential? And so I think taking inventory over skills is a practice that everyone should do so that they know how to apply their either basements or their ceilings into an industry career, job pursuit, charity, passion, family, whatever it is.
Well, let me ask you a question on that, because I think that there's people that look at the world today and go, well, my skills aren't as valued in the world or in society as LeBron James's skill. How would you talk to somebody whose skill sets might be different than what the traditional world values?
Yeah, so there's that problem of this is what I think or this is what I want others to think.
Yes, of course.
Right. So in the context of it, when we take the inventory of our skills and we make it applicable to jobs, careers, and industries. So look at, for example, Maverick.
Yeah.
So Maverick is LeBron's best friend who had all these skills. And LeBron being of a higher frequency or awareness because he has such a high level of skill, consistent, persistent pursuit of his potential,
100%.
which is amazing. Kobe had the same thing. He identified Maverick as his friend that had skills. Well, Maverick's skills when they were young were ignored, right? Everybody thought he was a hanger-on.
Yeah, of course.
But he's proven that his skills are applicable in business and marketing and content and media and all of these different places where industries, jobs, and careers are identified and they're admired when you're at the highest level or at your highest skill and utilization of that skill. So I still believe that we romanticize skill,
we do.
but if you're doing your best and living your potential, it will be acknowledged. That means others will acquire the knowledge of it and it will resonate with them. And some people would say that you're better off not being a basketball player.
Sure.
And LeBron's going to figure this out in the next few years. His level of basketball is not what's going to carry him forward, right? That's Magic Johnson is a billionaire now.
Yeah.
Not because he played basketball. Because of his charisma,
Great insight,
right? His skill set. So I say every day I'm looking at my skills, taking inventory and trying to improve my skills aligned with where I think I want to be or better. 2, knowledge. Knowledge has 2 types of knowledge to take inventory of. What you know and what you need to know, because I'm a constant be more interested person than interested.
Yeah.
Or who. And you talked about what most people identify now, like Dave Meltzer has an extraordinary network of people that will help each other and know people that will help each other.
Yeah.
And you know why that's important? Because if you can build a community, 2 or 2 million or 200 million of people that want to help you and know people that can help you and vice versa, that you can help and that you know people that can help, it's a lifetime community of people that will do 2 things. Buy from you and sell for you.
Yep.
Whether it's ideas, whether it's your philosophy, or whether it's product, services, solutions, or your brand.
Yeah.
I have more people selling for me today and buying into my brand, my mission, than I ever imagined. And it doubles and doubles and doubles. And we see that. So take inventory of the knowledge of who and what, and then take inventory of your desire every day. And I think it's important to take inventory of your desire because it's that desire that creates the delta. It's the desire that gets you up, gets you back up, gets you started, gets you back started. But it's also desire that gets you there. It also is completely aligned with finding the light, the love, and the lessons, the meaning. Right? I always tell people, you're one thought away from whatever you want. You're one thought away from peace. You're one thought away from ease. You're one thought away from abundance. You're one thought away from wealth. You're one thought away from health. One thought. And you have control of the meaning of everything that you see. You have control of that thought. And it's whether or not you're going to go ahead and change the way you look at things and the things you look at change, as many people have said.
Yeah, but that's hard to do.
Very.
And so I'd love your perspective on it because it's people get stuck there all the time and you can see them running in circles. And they just can't break out of that perspective trap.
Yep.
Do you have any advice for that?
Yeah, so I have 5 daily practices.
Oh, here we go.
That I utilize. You know me.
I love it, baby.
3, 5, 4.
No, let's go.
I got to make it simple. So
no.
Here's how I see it. And this is how I break it down for the people that I coach. I do free Friday trainings for over 24 years. I have groups. I have one-on-one. I'm a business advisor of some of the biggest companies in the world and executives, but I have free Friday trainings teaching the same stuff.
Yes.
So, and these are the practices. 1, what do you want today? And I think it's important to say, what do I want today in the trajectory of what I think I want in the future?
Okay.
By learning or giving meaning to my past in that trajectory. So I have 24 hours today. That's almost guaranteed to me. And the reason I say that is, I'm a lawyer and a negotiator. I've mitigated risk in my life.
Yes.
So if I break my life down to an infinite past, I know that I can go back 100 million years by closing my eyes. An infinite future, I know I can go 100 million years by closing my eyes. So I break down my life is really guaranteed today. And if I'm shorted today because something happens, cancel, 7 p.m. tonight, something happens and I'm no longer here, I've only lost 5 hours instead of 500 years or 5 years. I lived my whole life to be a doctor and then driving to the graduation.
Over.
Now what did I do? I didn't mitigate my risk. So what I do is I say, okay, 24 hours a day. First, I start with sleep. And so what I want is determined upon the rest and recovery that I get. I joke around. I used to want to be in the Hall of Fame for football, which is something I represented. I want to be known as the world's greatest sleeper.
Awesome.
I know it's weird to say, but think about it.
People's whole lives are get trashed if you don't have sleep.
Right.
Their foundation's gone.
What do you think the world's best sleeper does more than anyone else? I'm going to repeat that. What do you think the world's best sleeper does more than anyone else?
All right.
And they enjoy it more because it is recovery and access.
Yeah.
You recover better, you have more energy than anyone, and you access more information while you sleep that you can utilize for statistical success tomorrow. So today, 7 hours non-negotiable. Then I have 3 hours of non-negotiable for family, fitness, faith, finance, and time. I actually study time, and I allot time to study time because time is literally the only construct 24 hours of today. So I want to utilize it to be productive, accessible, and gracious. So now, what do I want today in the trajectory of this unlimited future by giving the appropriate meaning to an unlimited past to get me to the unlimited future that I think I want or better? Then who can I help? Who can help me? Right? The two fastest way to get to where you want to be is ask someone that's already there for directions or help someone get to where they want to be.
Okay, can I pause on that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you do that well? Because it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to ask somebody. And the reason I love this so much is because literally one of the keys to my success early on was I just called the best salespeople I knew in the mortgage space. And I said, can I get you a coffee? Anything. I want to spend 20 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever you can give me. And all of them were gracious. Yeah. But how do you ask? But that's still, I was 23. Now, when you think about it, like people are adults and people are busy. Do you have a strategy for that before we get too far down the line?
Practice asking in person, on the phone, via email and media. Practice asking. And it comes from, I did a little bit of consulting for Home Depot, and they have, 4 checkouts. Yeah. They have consumer, contractor, garden, and automatic.
Yep.
And they started selling warranties like Best Buy for the appliances and tools, huge margins, 2, 3, 4 year warranties.
Oh, yeah.
One of the checkouts sold 3 times as many warranties as all the other 3 combined. Automatic, right? Why? Because it looked at you and I, and it didn't say, those guys can't afford it. They looked at the 2 Mikeys, and they're like, those guys are too good looking, right? Yeah. They looked at this lady and said, her kids are crying. I'm not going to ask her.
Yeah.
Right? That computer just, it didn't know. It just said, do you want a warranty?
Bro.
And guess what? More people said yes. So for me, I practice asking. And like you found out at 23, the more they ask, the more you get, the more people say yes. And the more elevated the person is or beyond the experience you want to be at, the more they're likely to say yes, because you know how they got there? Somebody
did it to them.
Right? Yep. Somebody helped them. Yep. Nobody gets there by themselves.
No.
And they have everyone somewhere inside of them, whether they're arrogant or humble. Everyone has the humility when someone asks for help to recognize, man, I got to pay this forward, because whether I tell anyone or not, I know how I got here. Yep. And especially if they're younger, and those are the people that are most afraid of asking for help, are the younger people who need it the most.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge practitioner of asking who can help me. In fact, my whole sales strategy, I'm going to dive into this because this is important.
Yeah, I'm ready.
My whole sales strategy is based off of the fact that, number one, we've never had more access to more people.
No kidding.
So, 10 years from, I took me a month to get in, and I'm a cold caller.
Yeah, bro.
Right? I'm an obsessive.
Bang the phones.
Exactly. And I would be a door knocker too when I was young, but it would take me about a month to get to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's pounding 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's hitting it hard.
Hard. 1,000 people. Today I can do it in about 10 seconds.
It's crazy.
And so I've shifted the paradigm to qualifying who I'm reaching out to, to how many people can I get back to me that have an open mind, that I then can find out 2 things. 2 things. One thing is, how can I give you more of what you like? pertaining to what I'm selling.
Yep.
And how can I take away some of what you don't like or all of it pertaining to what I'm selling? And so if you have 1,000 people and 2 people get back to you and you can get to 1,000 people in 10 minutes or 10 seconds or 10 days,
Yep.
still faster than a month.
Seriously.
If you make it 4 people, you quadruple the amount of people, or 8 people. That's without getting better at sales. But the irony is, we talked about practice. The more people that get back to me, the more practice I get. So now I get better at sales. So it's the easiest and fastest way to teach people to sell is, hey, what are you doing today for your mortgage? What are you doing today? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Would it help you if?
Yep.
And then there's another question. Do you know anyone that can help me? And when you have something as ubiquitous as mortgages,
Yeah.
everybody has it.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, your biggest problem is prioritizing all the options, opportunities,
Yes.
and touches of favor. And you're not looking at what you don't have, what's missing, or what you're worried about. Interest rates are 7%. That's all I heard. 80% of the people will be out of the mortgage business, which means there's less competition.
That's it.
And people still have mortgages.
That's it.
And so no matter anyone in the world that has a mortgage or wants a mortgage, if you can give them more of what they like and take away what they don't like about the mortgage they have or the mortgage they want, you're going to get their business. But you're not going to get it unless you ask and get them to get back to you.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about getting them to get back to you, and let's talk about scaling, your reach. Because Dave, you've been incredible on social media. Like, you embraced it, you went all in on it.
Yep.
And if you watch Dave on social media, please make sure you do that. You're going to notice one thing, that he is giving more than he's receiving. You have a very unique strategy. So for salespeople, how do you help define strategy for them on these platforms?
Yeah, well, number one, know what you're selling.
That's a great comment.
Right? Like,
Well, because there's people on there that are just talking about themselves all day long, and you can see it. And I don't even know if they know what they're selling.
of course not. And practice articulating the quantitative value of what you're selling to exceed what you're asking for. I call it the 120 rule. When I'm standing on these big stages now, I literally will say, anybody out there have $20? And first person to raise their hand, I say, come up here.
Yes.
I said, take it out. And they'll take out the $20. And then I'll open my wallet, right? And I'm like, here you go, $100. Will you trade me this for that?
Yeah, and everyone's going to say that immediately, of course.
They all say yes. And the only thing that would stop them is credibility, meaning if it's fake.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to always keep in mind my credibility. Can't oversell, back end sell, lie, manipulate, or cheat, because then they're going to look for what's not there.
That's 100%.
Instead of what's there.
100%.
But that's real. I made it today. So they automatically do. I said, there's the crux of sales. The thing is that's easy to articulate the quantitative value because everyone recognizes
Everyone knows
100 is more than a 20. So if you haven't taken the time to know your 100 and articulate the value of what this actually is comparatively to what you're asking for, because if you're credible or close to credible, everyone will trade you what you have for less.
Yes.
Everyone will. But most people don't take the time to know the capabilities of what they have.
Yep.
They oversell them.
Yes.
They dump the features and benefits instead of talking about quantitatively, what do you like, what don't you like, and then explain from what you told me, you'll be able to spend 8 more hours with your children a week. You'll be able to decrease your energy costs this much, or your monthly payment will go down because from what you've told me.
Yep.
And
Even, 100%.
Right? Even to the fact with the mortgages that were sold, there's a ton of people that were sold bad mortgages because they were oversold.
Yeah.
And those are opportunities for people like for here at Loan Depot to sell them a good mortgage. Because the good thing about mortgages is you're not stuck.
Well, here's the crazy part to your example here, like driving it down. We're doing a truckload of refinances at 7 and 8% today. And the reason we're doing at 7-8% per day when people are leaving their 2 and 3% rates is because their cash flow is getting better, because their life circumstances have changed. Things happened, whether they were accidental or unintentional, and they're in a place where they need cash or they need a solution. And so, but salespeople make huge assumptions.
Like the
my
Home
past
Depot.
customers have a 2% rate.
Like
Why
the
would I
Home
even
Depot.
call? Like the Home Depot machine, who's not just asking,
No assumptions.
not just checking in and saying like, "How's everything going? What problems do you have that I might be able to solve?" So your example is 100% right. If people don't know the value of what they're bringing to the table, there's nothing to exchange.
Remember too, when interest rates go up, they go up everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you want to send your kids to college,
Yep. Everything else is more expensive.
More expensive, right? And the loans for your kids are more expensive.
Yep.
So as much as you may or may not want to spend 7%, comparatively, if your kids are going to college, it beats the 10% that they're going to be paying. And we all know what the market does.
What does the market do, Dave?
It goes up and it goes down, right? That's why I always tell people with real estate, and you look at someone that lost over $100 million, mostly in real estate. But the thing that I learned about real estate is, for me, I only buy real estate that I can hold for life.
Yeah.
You know why? Because then interest rates don't matter.
Yep.
Interest rates don't matter. I just know that the time value of money and my timing and risk tolerance change in my life. And therefore, if I find someone like you, I call Alec and say, hey, here's my new timing and risk tolerance. Here's what I'm looking at. What type of mortgage can best align with my life situation? Because I've bought this property that I don't want to lose and I want to keep it for life. And yes, would it cost me an extra $400 a month sometimes? Sure. Certainly will. But when it goes back down, it saved me.
You go back down.
Right? And meanwhile, that's saving me or hedging me 3%. There's so many different ways and things that you could do. But the problem is most salespeople are not articulating the quantitative value to see what they're asking for.
Yes.
They're just literally talking, right?
100%.
And who wants to be talked to when they could have someone that's listening for?
Yeah.
Even when I speak on Instagram and that stuff, I'm there listening for.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not talking to anyone. Right? I'm listening for and illuminating all the different things that I learned through dummy tax, through making the mistakes myself. Right? Which everybody's worried about tax. You want the biggest tax in real estate? It's called dummy tax. And when you have knowledgeable people like here at Loan Depot, you save the dummy tax because they've never even imagined. And plus, invisible assumptions is another thing that frustrates me so much, is that salespeople make invisible assumptions and they outsell themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Just shut up.
Just shut up. Ask the questions. Don't assume that you know that they think interest rates are high because they're 7%. They may be looking for any way to get into a property because they know some nuance of this property and they don't care what the percentage is because they're going to be able to get out of the property in 6 months. They just need to get in the property.
That's right. I got a little bit of time left with you, and I want to go back to a major topic that we went fast on, but I think is really important to go deep on, and this is the community building stuff.
Good.
A lot of salespeople realize at the core of their success is going to be the relationships they generate. It's not the sale. It's the experience and the connection, the community they create. And so you were throwing gems on how to build community and what that could mean. And I want to spend a few more minutes on that. So if I want you to speak to a salesperson today that's out there realizing, I need to build community. It's not about the transactional sale. I need to start building it with realtors and builders and my past clients. What's some steps to do that in a meaningful way?
Well, I'm going to repeat how you build a community because there's 4 ways. 1, in person. Show up.
So it's such a digital age though.
Right.
And everyone's like, I got to film 20 social media videos a day and all this stuff. So go on with this. What does this mean?
I do meetups still. I don't know if you know that.
I do. Yes.
So 200 cities I'm in person. And so I put it out there, meet me in person.
Yeah.
Nothing builds a community more than meeting someone and getting a hug, a smile, and taking a picture.
Yes.
By the way.
Yes.
And giving them a book or whatever it is. But when you're face to face, that's the easiest and fastest way to build a real community of people. 2, on the phone,
call,
voice and text. I have a list. It has approximately 3,300 people on it. You're on it. And I simply go down. I spend a minimum of 10 minutes a day talking to people or reaching out to people that are relative to me in my community. And I'm just like, hey, just thinking of you.
So cool.
How's it going? If I run into you at Orange County Airport, I'll check you off my list if we get to talk. But I make sure I go down and everyone gets checked off of my list and I start over again. So I do that usually by phone and text.
Yeah.
The other community that people ignore is on email still.
Totally.
Regardless of the platforms, people will be utilizing and have utilized email to communicate effectively. And to be able to communicate effectively and build a community of people on your email is so important.
Yeah.
And I'm a big making sure I ask on every In person, I have an ask. On the phone, I have an ask, and email. So at the bottom, it says, hey, I do free Friday trainings. Would you like to join me?
Yeah.
Or I'm raising money for the Unstoppable Foundation, which I'm the chairman of, or Junior Achievement, which I'm the chief chancellor of. But there's always an ask. And when I needed leads, it wasn't, hey, will you come to free? It was, hey, do you know anyone that can help me?
Yeah.
Right? I'm looking for a customer.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Ask.
So then comes social media. Okay. Why social media or media last? Because what you do in person, what you do on the phone, and what you do via email can be captured, modified, and amplified on social media.
I like that.
So you're cheating yourself if you're just doing something for social media.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite classic story of how what I call the stage theory works in the capture, modify, amplify, and perpetuate. I had a dream, I fly a lot, to be an American Way magazine.
Okay.
And they have the entrepreneur centerpiece.
Yes.
You've seen it.
Oh, I know.
And I would fly, and I'm like, someday, I'm going to open up this and see myself, and my mom's going to see me, and my friends are going to see me. People are going to think I'm amazing. Anyway, I get the call, and it was in 2019 saying, hey, in 2020, we want to feature you. You get 2 months. There's 6 entrepreneurs we're going to feature. What 2 months do you want? I said December and January. Why? Because everybody flies and my ego is flying, right? I want much attention. So I end up getting the American Way magazine centerpiece when no one's flying.
Can't even.
Right. But
just perfect.
So this is a magazine. Now the stage theory, this is, remember, people don't remember the article in the magazine, but they remember the way they feel, just like Maya Angelou said.
Yep.
So what did I do? I got the magazine and I told the story of humility, how my ego's out of control. Yep. Even though I teach humility, I still want to show off and be loved, or what people think I am.
Still there.
The super entrepreneur, Dave Meltzer knows this. Anyways, I take it and I open it up on my Instagram Live, right? And I show people the article and I tell people humbly, I made a mistake. The only people that really care that I'm in there were people that already care about me.
True. Yeah.
Even if everyone was flying, how many people do you remember that was in this? I've read it every time dreaming about me being in there. I don't know who was ever in there. But somehow in my mind, what I want people to think I am.
Yeah.
So instead, more people remember that I'm in the American Way magazine that have never seen or read the article, nor do they care. But what resonates with them is my honesty about, hey, dummy, why do you do this yourself? You're such a big deal, and it doesn't, but without the capture, the modify, the amplify, right now I have so much opportunity as a salesperson to build community. And who am I attracting? Here's the other lesson. I'm attracting people that resonate with that story of humility. We have time for a quick one.
Yes.
One of my favorites, because you'll get this. Books are about ego. Most authors are not James Clear. Okay, which I love that book, Atomic Habits, by the way. But anyway, so my first book, Connected to Goodness, which, by the way, I give everyone for free. I'll give your whole community. I sign it, send it to you, and pay for shipping for free. David@dmeltzer.com. Put it in the notes. Anyway, I put it out there. Goodreads, which is like the online whatever review. David Meltzer's an idiot.
Excellent.
This book is stupid. He thinks that you could talk to water and change its molecular makeup. So if you have dirty water, you talk nicely, it changes. And meanwhile, I took it from, I think, the movie Blink, and I gave it reference. It wasn't like I just made this up. Anyway, this lady shits on my story. And so my ego says, oh my God, no one's ever going to buy my book. You know what happened? It's what people need to learn what happens in building a community. Everyone that believed her that you can't talk to water never bought my book. So it protected me from a bunch of people that were going to hate my book.
That would automatically.
Because they're on that frequency. But what also happened?
The other people.
Everyone like me were like, oh, I got to read that book. That never would have read my book because they were like, this lady's an idiot.
That's so good.
And so this happens in life all the time in building a community. 10% of the people are going to love you no matter what. They'll buy your book. or whatever else.
Yeah.
You'll be in your community.
Services, yeah.
10% are going to hate you.
Yeah. So just
You got to lean into them because they'll protect you about all the other people.
I love that
And then the more consistent we are, we start adapting and adopting the 80% in the middle. That is an enormous amount of people. The size, scope, and scale of the audience is incredible.
Yeah.
So when you're building a community, you have unlimited community members. And remember, there's an article called 1,000 True Fans. It's one of the best ones because you have a social silo. And you probably, everyone here, if you truly have 1,000 true fans,
Yeah.
and I'm almost getting there, your grandkids don't have to work. Like 1,000 people that are buying from you
Yeah.
and selling for you, that's a community. And instead, everyone worries about followers,
Of course.
views.
yeah, engagement, likes, all the crap.
That's crap. I love the fact that people like you may not even be following me, but you watch me. Charlie Eibach from Sleep Number came up to me at the Super Bowl, and I was like, hey, she goes, you're only one of 4 people on LinkedIn I watch.
Hell yeah.
Doesn't follow me.
Yeah.
But she's like, I really like, for you to do this for us, at the Super Bowl and for my sales team. That means way more than 2 million 19-year-olds that maybe I'm planting seeds to.
Yeah, you're doing good. Yeah, no, it's all good.
But the others are what I'm really concerned about.
All right, we got 5 minutes, and this is where I want to take this, and I'm excited for this. And we can go long. So if you're on a roll, I'm not stopping.
Okay, good.
We're in what is being described as one of the hardest down cycles of our industry ever. I mean, I'm talking to people that have gone through 5, 6 cycles, and this one's different and very difficult. Inventory is a problem. People aren't moving. They're sitting on their stuff. We've got financial policy and interest rate, giant tidal waves against everybody. And so people in these environments, it's very easy to get down on yourself. It's very easy to get defeated. People very easily fall to negativity and scarcity mindset and fear. And, there's people leaving the industry. There's lots of turmoil. You're probably the best person to talk about perspective here and how to deal with this shit. And so I'd love for you to just kind of take what everyone's experiencing and pour into it with the Dave Meltzer way. Just what would you say to that community of people that are suffering and dealing with a crazy market right now?
Yeah. Well, first of all, where there is down, there's opportunity. And so we need to find the light, the love, and the lessons in what other people are being punished with. The first step is to have faith.
Yeah,
so faith to me is best option faith. I wake up every morning and say, there's something bigger than me that loves me more than my mom, and it knows everything. And so I cannot know or understand outcomes when they are immediately presented to me. That's one. 2, I cannot see progress.
What do you mean?
So this is where people in these bad times, and this is why I think I recovered so quickly, is I knew one thing out of faith. Good behavior creates an instant result that I'll never be able to determine or see. It's called good progress.
Okay.
Bad behavior creates a result that I never can see or understand immediately, called bad progress.
Okay.
And I saw this in sports come to fruition because I saw the careers of people where you're like, oh, how come he has that? No. He's progressing in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's just, he's here.
Yeah.
And so and that's what happened to me, right? 2 years before I lost everything, I was Midas.
Peak. Yep.
But I was bad behavior, bad progress. See, with good behavior and we don't see good progress, which you can't see, you quit. And that's what people are doing right now.
Yes.
They have good behavior.
Don't see the result.
Bad result.
Yep.
Right? Or an outcome they don't understand. They think it's bad. Outcome that they don't understand, so they quit.
Yep.
Now they've lost 13 years of good behavior.
Yeah.
Bad behavior, they don't see any results. Same way as good behavior results, so they don't quit. So now you have 2 things working against you in a bad market.
Yes.
Is that bad behavior is creating bad progress and you don't see it, and all your good behaviors are quitting because you don't see the outcomes that you think are better for you and they're not. And so what happens and this is why more millionaires are made during these times than ever before, is that the people that understand good behavior creates good progress, it tells all its secrets to you, and all of a sudden, just when everybody else is out, it's like, oh, this opportunity, I found this niche.
Yep.
You didn't find the niche. It wasn't, right? It literally was from your good behavior telling you the secrets, which then created this opportunity of like, I'll give you one just in my real estate side of things.
Yeah.
and I talked to a bunch of realtors about this. I'm buying up properties from the Gen Z people that got into FHA mortgages.
Yep.
And they're ready to move up because their house doubled and tripled.
Yeah.
They're ready to move up and they can do a 1031 exchange.
Yep.
Well, I now can come in where they're at and assume an FHA mortgage is assumable.
Yep.
So I can give them the price that they want, right?
Yeah, because you're taking the note at the lower rate. Yep.
And they think, oh my God, the down market, I ripped this guy off. He's paying me $1.2 million. Nobody else is paying me $1 million. Meanwhile, my mortgage is a third the cost and I'm going to be renting it out. So what do I care about? Cash flow.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I can't tell you how many real estate guys are like, there's nothing out there. I can't buy it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're just not doing the work.
Yeah.
And that niche came to me because why? I just consistently have good behavior for looking for options, opportunities, and touch of favor because I believe in faith that I'm being protected and promoted, whether the interest rates are 2 or 7. It's just a matter of understanding by studying and asking for help.
Yeah.
You know how many people have lived through all these down markets?
Yeah, of
all you got to
course.
do is ask them, what did you do to make money during the down market? Oh, cash flow. If something cash flows today at 7%, you're pretty locked in for the future.
Yeah, it's going to cash at 3 when you pull back down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't look at price. I look at cash flow, which led me to learn that FHA loans were assumable. And most real estate people have been in forever. I'm like, you can assume a residential loan. They're like, no, you can't. Well, yes, you can. Not a conforming loan, but an FHA loan. And there's so many different areas that I see now with ADUs.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's college locations where the cash flows are so good because people have never Airbnb'd or VBR'd it, and you got like a football team. I have 2 places in Bloomington, Indiana.
Really?
They're not even that good at football, but we get $2,600 a night. $2,600 a night because it's 6-bedroom, right?
Yeah.
$2,600 a night during football games because the Holiday Inn Express is paying $800 a night for a single bed.
Yep.
And they get a whole house with a beautiful home. And meanwhile, there's enough games where it covers 2 years of mortgages and the house isn't getting wear and tear because it's only renting for the basketball and football season.
So perspective helps.
Finding the light, the love, and the lessons. Ask for help. Utilize daily practices, but have faith that your good behavior creates good progress. So don't stop the good behavior and be a victim.
What helps you have faith when it's hard to see?
I've been there.
I know.
I remember crying to my mom. I did everything in my mind. I did everything I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
How could this happen to me? Faith to me is best option faith.
Yeah.
I challenge anyone in your community right now. Anyone that can come up with a better option than this to believe in, then let me know. I'll believe in it. So here's how I look at it. Best option wise, whether you define it with a religious term,
sure.
God, Buddha, Muhammad, Joseph Smith, whatever you want, or in philosophy or theory or spirituality, source, I don't care. But here's the best option. I know that I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
So I am going to believe in the best option of that which I can believe in, which is there's an omniscient, all-knowing, infinite, abundant, unified system of thought out there that loves me, protects me, and promotes me at all time, even more than my mom would. Therefore, all the circumstances that seem like punishment remind me of when I was 3 and I reached out to touch a stove.
Touch the stove, yeah.
Right? And my mom slapped my hand and screamed at me, no. What did I do? I cried. Why are you punishing me? Why are you yelling? Why'd you hit me? And she hugged me and said, because you don't know the stove's going to burn you. I'm protecting and promoting you from something burning you. So every time interest rates go up, I lose a property, a relationship goes the wrong way, I don't get the deal, accidents happen, a challenge for my children, which is painful for me, whatever it may be, I just tell myself, I know I don't know what I don't know. My best option is I'm being protected and promoted. And guess what? Eventually, I see it every time. One advantage of being 55 compared to 25 is at least I have some data points, like bankruptcy, like losing everything, like breaking up with my fiance in law school. All these things that when they happened, like especially my bankruptcy.
Worst ever.
Worst. I had to go tell my mom not only I was bankrupt, but I lost her house. Only reason I wanted to get rich was to buy her house. I didn't take my name off the title. And at that moment, if you'd have said, don't worry, Dave. You're being protected and promoted. This is saving your life. This is saving your marriage. This is actually going to make you a better son.
God,
all of this is going to make you a better. Someday you're going to power millions of people because of this. I would have told you to F off.
Yes, exactly.
But I have learned to shorten the amount of time between F off,
Yeah.
poor me, why me, and to try me,
Yeah.
and to faith. And it's getting to minutes and moments in my life where it's a real blessing to be at ease and so positive and be able to teach people to shorten the time frame of pain into promotion and protection.
Dave, I think we just covered 14 days worth of content
Nice.
in like less than an hour. This has been incredible for everyone out there listening. If you're not having a man like Dave plug into you every day, get on his social, get in his ecosystem. It's free and it's abundant. And there's tons of life lessons and education and network and opportunity in there. So Dave, thank you for what you contribute to the world, brother.
Thank you.
We love you.
Love you too.
Everybody, have a great day. We'll see you on the next episode.